you see the Western culture is coming so fast on our life. And also, another thing is that very low level creations are done. You understand that one? Like drama, like cinemas, like books, many also newspapers. Very low level they are. Now, what should we do about it? One way is to criticize them. But we don't want to take that position. Then what should be our attitude? What can we do? सगळ्यात एकदा पुढे वळता तुम्ही विचार. इकडे आपण समजून कसा तुम्ही विचार कुठे कसल्यानुसार तुम्ही आहे हा सांगा तुमचं काय म्हणतो काय काय लागू शकतो इकडे येऊन बसा समोर आपण नाही तुम्ही इकडे बसा काय बोला
दर्जेदार कार्यक्रम दर्जेदार नाटकं जी बंद पडली आहेत ज्यांना ऑडियन्स नसल्यामुळे ती बंद पडली आहेत ऑडियन्स नसल्यामुळे जी दर्जेदार नाटकं बंद पडली जुन्या वेळेची उत्तम नाटकं यातून सांस्कृतिक वारसा आहे आणि बाहेरच्या सर्जक आहे जसं आपण त्याविषयी म्हणा त्या नाटकांचे प्रयोग लावून त्याची तिकीट आपण कन्व्हिन्सिंग करून जबरदस्ती लोकांना बसवून दाखवली पाहिजे.
आता काय झालं परवा मी नाटक बघा I went to see one very wonderful drama which is of an international level. Such a great drama it was. Ram Vani Patwila. And there were hardly 20 or 30 people to watch it. And to all kinds of useless third-rate plays which is so boring, even if it may not be very vulgar. But there are so many people. So for Sahajayogi it is their responsibility. Whether it is Marathi, Hindi or English. What we have to do is to now find out the committee who should prescribe or say that this is a drama of a very good level. Then such drama, now I was thinking, I have asked them to have this drama in Bombay on the 1st of April. So all the people who are supporters should take all their families, everything to such good dramas. Let the children see good dramas. Because not only that, but it is the heritage of Maharashtra. Now in Bengal you will not find such cheap things going on. The Bengal is good, their character is there. Anything cheapish they throw it. I have seen dramas in Bengal also and Bangla language. They cannot stand, they cannot bring down their level. So the dramas which are, of course, there can be humorous dramas, there can be with the music, without music. But mostly with music, we have very, very good dramas in Marathi. So these must be seen. Now, our background is when I am such an old woman and at that time I was very young. Not a single drama we missed. Not a single drama. All dramas we saw. But every drama was a class drama. That such dramas won't work out. I don't know, there might be some tamashas or somewhere might be there. But not in a proper hall, proper audiences. And the music, people were so particular. They knew all the songs. So now our language, maybe yours also, has come from these high-class dramas. Any language which doesn't have a high-class drama cannot have a very powerful language. I felt about Hindi the same. So I started a very good some meaning to our life and prescribe it. Gradually you will find the trend of cinemas will change. Secondly, it will have a very good effect on your children. All kinds of useless cinemas, if our children see, they will be all finished. So we have to be selective of it. In guiding our children, we have to be ourselves very disciplined about it. That we should not accept anything that is not good. It doesn't convey anything sensible, something constructive. So once you are disciplined, you can discipline your children also. I remember my parents used to see every film which we were supposed to see. And if they found it was alright, they would say. I mean, today I thank them, of course I would never see, but for all my generation. You see, we developed a kind of a class understanding. This is one. Now the second point is the drama. If there is music, people don't want it. I mean, just imagine. In Maharashtra, our Sangeet is not a Sangeet. Our Sangeet is not a Sangeet. And if we cannot appreciate Natya Sangeet, then what are we going to appreciate at Natya? It's not being traditional or anything, but it is being sensible. Now this music, I know that all of you should try to understand classical music. It's very important. Because, as I told you, this music has come from Omkara. Look at the foreigners. You see them, how they appreciate our music. They can't stand any other music. If you, even by chance, they happen to switch on to something, they'll put their ears like this and they'll say, no, we don't want. So these things once have become part and parcel of your understanding, then you won't like cheap music, there is all kinds of this rap music, sickening, absolutely sickening, it has sickened those countries. So we have to develop our music through dramas. I wouldn't say that you should sit down with Sahaja, learn music and all that. I never learned music myself, but you must listen. Because through vibrations, as I have seen, you will appreciate music better and you will get much more joy after listening to music. Because through the music vibrations, it's very surprising, but it is not so much because this music comes from home. That's why you have seen all the foreigners, they like only Indian classical music. Our foreigners can sit down listening. For example, that drama, if they have seen, they don't mind if they don't understand. As long as there is music, is alright. They have seen all kinds of musical things. They have seen this Swayamvar. This time, they couldn't get anything musical. They said, then we don't want any drama. So they organized another Sanjay Kallo. Just the musical drama. If they can appreciate so much, why can't we appreciate we being Indians? Why can't we have life in fun? So for our children from now only, you must try to let them hear classical music and let them sing classical music and also Indian music, which is based on some sort of a classical tunes. Because it's a pure music. There is purity. Now I was really shocked that for such a high standard drama, there are hardly 20, 30 people in the hall. Really for sure. I don't know how they are paying for it. Poor thing. Artists, all of them came all the way from Bombay, reserved this hall, had this drama. They did it on their own. Who paid for it? So we should form a committee which will decide which drama is good or which drama is bad. Now there are so many people, but I think later on we'll sit down and discuss that. Then secondly, we have to find out what are the good films, who is producing good films. We should support these films which give you good ideas, constructive ideas. So we can form another committee who will decide which are the good films, like the censoring you can call it. Every film is not good. These especially Indian films also. I was myself on the censor board. I think I would not have passed even one of them. Killing, beating, your children will learn that. We have come here to get realization, to create peace and joy. And if the children become so turbulent and violent, how do we expect them to create peace and joy? But I have seen in any film which is good, which is giving some sort of a very beautiful ideas about life, it's not like that. They like something flippant, something cheapish, because they have not developed the taste. Why do I like it? Because I have developed the taste only for that. So the main point is we have to develop the taste. In Sahajayogi as it is, there is no compulsion. But I can direct it. I can tell you try. Once you try, you will tell me whether you will thank me for it. Because all these things are very soothing, good for our academic life, for your spiritual life. Now the third attack comes to us from the media. Certain newspapers are just falsehood. So we should also certify which newspapers we should read. So the style of journalism, there's all kinds of people gone. That's not nourishing for us, for our children. And we should collect good cuttings and things from every newspaper. I do that all the time. Anything that you find good, anything that is statistical, anything that is going to help us to explain Sahaja, you all should try to cut small cuttings, big cuttings. The other day I was writing a book on that, and I should write the criminality in the West. I'm writing a book about the problems of the West. And imagine one of the cuttings I found in which they have given all the statistics about England. But England is the safest country. It's the best. The violence is the least in among all the other democratic countries. I was surprised the whole statistics. In England, I would say is one of the best democratic countries. Others are, I wouldn't call it democratic. The judiciary is so good, everything. Despite that, despite their very good police department, wonderful police department, still such a lot of criminality is existing there. But why? Because in their culture is not built to talk about dharma, not Hindu, Christian, Muslim, not that. But what is your dharma towards your country? India we have all kinds of dharmas. We have a country, so we have a nation. Then towards our parents, towards our wife, towards our husband, towards everything we have a dharma. Means how a human being should behave. Dharma means human valency. How a human valency should act towards the surroundings, towards the relationships. So, what you find that these children or who are now in Sahajayoga are mostly born realized. And if you feed them with proper nourishing ideas, I am sure one day we will have a race of people who will be very sensible and can lead the whole world. For example, in the Western life there is no idea of punyas, no ideas of punyas. And I was amazed when I went abroad that they would say, what's wrong? So what's wrong? And in democracy and the cities, there is no attention at all to your morals. They are not bothered. In the science, and you know science is amoral, it has nothing to do with morality. So who is going to do this part of morality? Who is going to work out this part of morality? This is what you Sahajayogis have to do. Jointly, understandingly, you all have to. And this moral standard has to be set. This moral standard you have to set. So that the people should see that as a group we are really morally very strong. You don't be normally you don't. Once you have got your realization, of course, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't tell lies. I know people are very honest with such. Individually. But when it comes to group, then there are problems. Another thing which I have to tell you is to find out all the good books written by different people. In Marathi language itself, you see what books we have read, I have not even seen them. Very surprising. There was one Narayana Hari Narayana. They are not father. So many people we have. And I have read all of these books. Because in those days, we didn't have cinema so much and they were not allowed also. So what we did was to read only and discuss among us. तुम्ही पुस्तक वाचलं का आपले पुस्तक वाचलं का असं मी विचार. आता बायकांना फक्त जर शाळेचा प्रश्न राहिला तेवढा आम्ही पण मुलांना विचार तुम्ही कोणतं पुस्तक वाचलं तुम्ही स्वतः वाचलं पाहिजे. जर mothers have to read those books, see for themselves if these books are good and should ask the children to read. And because of this, what we call in Marathi Vyaksan, see, I have never studied English, never studied Hindi, nothing. Marathi also did it up to matriculation. But because of reading only this, you can learn so many things. So, we should have a library in Sahaja. And this library should try to procure all the good books in every language. There are many are translated also. This will definitely change your attitude. Now, Pote is sitting here, and you know he is a great poet. We have another one. Recently, who has come to us, Mr. Sahaja. He is another great poet. Today I met him. I was very happy. So, with Sahaja, you will get more poetry than prose in your heads. So, we have to put our mind towards poetry. Poetry is very easy for service. But you have to little bit become a subtler personality. There are so many subjects in which you have to write. We talk of these problems, that problem, now Bhraštacār problem, then they say another problem of children's education and this and that. All these things can be written in poetry. And if you write it in poetry, it's easy to digest. Prose can be boring. In a very humorous way also you can bring in a very deep understanding also. So you should encourage people to make beautiful poetry, listen to them. And that you should know, we knew poetry by heart because in those days it was a craze. The craze was very different. Nobody used to go to discos or anything in those days. So, supposing I know some poetry or I make some poetry, then I would tell my friends and friends would tell us, or my father would recite some good poems. It was sort of as if he has found out something nice and he is showing us, this is it. Then we will find out something. So the whole atmosphere, the ambience was upon such a beautiful, soothing, higher level that one would not look at all low things. Human beings are not born to live in hell. They are born to live in hell. So all such heavenly poems are to be brought into the attention of all the Sahajayogis, especially me. You see, I have not read many modern, Kusumar of course, in Marathi, in modern poetry, there's one Kavi who in the south, so many. But also there is a trend to produce some sort of a very absurd poetry, which I read recently. Some girl writing about our old style of Saraswati against it. And comparing with men, why if they can go to prostitutes, why can't we go, sort of nonsense. Such poetry can also come. I mean, it is regarded as very modern, regarded as something very different, something very new. So in modern poetry, the trend is towards real vulgarity. I think because there is no poetry, so they have to take to vulgarity. Even in art. Art also same thing. They will take to some vulgar nonsense because they do not have real art. Now see people like Rembrandt. His paintings are now in Hermitage in Russia and thousands and thousands of people come there just to see his painting. But we can't have Rembrandt now because we haven't got that depth of Rembrandt. What we are doing is to roll on a sheet of paper some sort of a color and say this is art. Something new. This nonsense has to go. Everything new is not good in the same way everything old may not be good. So we have to choose. Like I met once an ambassador of Mexico, we were eating together, and he said, why don't you like Freud? Do you like Jung? I said, yes, I like it. Jung because he said, I don't like him because he has not given much new things to us. But Freud has given us something new. So I said, all right, sir, we have eaten all this food before. We have not eaten this table. Should we have it? Because we have never eaten it. It's a new thing. Why not taste it? So everything new need not be food. We have to think of nourishment of us, of correctness. So all these self-destructive things should be found out, and we should be very particular at what do we choose in poetry, in art, where we have to express our inner beauty. Because you won't be able to digest. You are Sahajayogi now, you are saints. You won't be able to digest. I'm just thinking of having a big library in Vashi to begin. But here also, thank God, now we are getting a nice lab in Pune, where I am going to build. I hope so, with the help of all of you, we'll build a nice library, plus other places where we can have meditation and things like that. Also videos we can use of some good films and poetry. So on the cultural side we have to look. The culture is very important because the government is not bothered about your morality. Science is not bothered about your morality. Who is bothered about your morality then is the culture. I don't believe in Hindu culture or Muslim culture or anything, but such culture as it is, that we have to create. Without that, you can never be happy. Now the trend is so much for our younger people to dress up the way they want, and the way they expose their body and try to attract men, and it's a game going on nonsensical. Men attracting women, women for no avail. It's a fruitless pursuit, joyless pursuit. So we should try to discourage our children and ask them to be decent and decorous. It's very important. This trend is crawling up, crawling. But once they get it started in them, they will just not do it. Example is like this. Once my husband was in London and there was one gentleman who said that why don't you come for a ballroom dance? He said, no, I don't dance, my wife does dance. He said, bring her to London, she start dancing. She said, you take her to even the moon, she will not do this. So the same gentleman told me that your husband was so confident that you would not do such thing. So one should not get upset when we talk that we should be decent. Because Sahajayogis must respect themselves, must respect. You are saints. Again and again I say, you are saints and you are respecters. You should not get into some sort of a mad fashion that comes in. What is fashion? That is the entrepreneurs. They are making fool of everyone. Today they will say, all right, you wear a dress like this. Tomorrow they will say wear a dress like that. Because they have to make their machinery done, their business done. So you'll have a pile of dresses, and by the time you have to go out, you have no dress to wear. So once you decide, this is the kind of clothes I am going to wear, I am not going to pay too much attention to this. Alright, there is something artistic, something ethnic, the young people should wear, because they should also support the art. Even sari is very artistic thing, I think, because we support our villagers. 80% of our villagers depend on what they make out of their spare time. Because you know the rain is so hardly for 3-4 months, 5 months at the most. The rest of the time they have so much of empty time that they can do something with the handiwork. So for this also we should try. I don't know how, but we can try to make some sort of a model. I don't want it to be regimental or wearing everybody the same type of dress or anything. We must wear variety, because variety makes you look beautiful and there is so much of beauty. But in that, one thing should be there, that you should be decently dressed. There should not be any indecency. It's very important. Because you are a saint now. Now imagine a saint going with a small short skirt and saying, I am a saint. They'll say, all right. Actually, the weight is false gurus, they might be thieves or anything in India. They wore big jogas and went abroad, became so popular only with this dress. And if the Sahajayogi started wearing dresses which are indecent, who will believe that you are saints? I mean, I'm not saying that we should try to be fool, but it's a fact. You are saints, and you shouldn't behave in a manner that shows that you are indecent, or you are trying to attract the attention of others. You must stand on your self-respect. So, how do you show that you respect yourself, respect your body? Once you start respecting, you will know how to be. Discipline comes to you from self. Immediately you will know, I should not have done wrong. I should not have done it. It's not wrong. So respecting yourself is one of the most important things in Sahaja. And in public when you move, now there are people who are going all over Maharashtra to talk about Sahaja, which breaks up. But in their own language, in their own behavior, are they decent? Are they sensible? Or they are arrogant? I've seen ladies and men also talking to me like this, like that, like that. The Sahajayogi should talk like this. It's like a lady on the some sort of a political thing is talking. Sometimes I feel there, but sometimes worse than that. Because you have to be humble. You have to be compassionate and humble. There should be no arrogance. So this kind of behavior and all this, I was wanting that we should find out people who should be able to talk on these things and tell people, Corona. What sort of dress we should wear? Normally, what sort of clothes we should wear? Especially for our children. It should not be by any chance indecent, exposing your body. Then this is a new trend that has started. For this also, you people will have to put your body. What can we do to stop this kind? Supposing there is some Sahajayogi or some Sahajayogi who wears funny dresses like a clown, supposing for example. You have to correct it. You should be normal, no doubt. But not abnormally funny. Because it is fashionable. Everybody is wearing that like that, so we are also wearing like that. We are Sahajayogi. We stand on our own feet and on our own understanding. We are not going to bow with these entrepreneurs who are producing modern tailoring, some new things just to be famous. Our Indian dresses are beautiful, very beautiful. We should take the Indian dresses, there is no harm. So for this also, for consideration of this, we should have some committee. We should see that there are no people who are doing like this. Because this brings bad name to Sahaja. I mean, you should see the foreigners again and again. They have come from hell. They themselves tell me what they have been doing, taking drugs, alcoholism, this, that, humanizing, everything they have done. And suddenly they have become like lotuses. And we who are in heaven, I must say Maharashtra is a heaven as far as Adhyatma is concerned. But now, you can see, we have no faith in our society, we have no faith in our search culture. thing about Maharashtrians, that they must fight. Next to Muslims are Maharashtrians. They must pull each other's legs. I'm sorry. So now in Delhi I'm working in Noida, everywhere Sahaja is working, and you do not fight. Even once I have heard anybody fighting you. But here I don't know why. Pulling each other's legs all the time, fighting. And complaining too. I don't know if Sahajayogis fight, then what is left? I mean, I'm thinking of the whole world in one. And if the Sahajayogis fight, it's what? I can understand false gurus, people fight. Of course, it's false, but you are standing on truth and truth is the same. Then why should we fight? I do not like a person who talks ill of others or tells you something else. I know everyone. So they will say, Mother, he told you this. Nobody can tell me anything, I know everything. And nobody can spoil my mind against anyone, I know everything. So this is it. And morning till evening, some of them are so horribly against each other. Then the only trick I play is to say that fellow was praising you. Why are you not praising that person? Last but not the least is money-wise. Maharashtrians have a special sense of saving money at wrong places. Like the other day, somebody said that why are you charging 55 for this day? I mean, you know that most of the things that we have in Sahaja are organized by you don't pay anything anyway. But 55 rupees for a team is justifiable because 30 rupees it costs, 5 rupees for institution, and 10 rupees they think we should give it to mother. Because I don't want it, I told him at a time I don't want it. But he said we must give it because I am making so many things, doing so many things. So 10 rupees they want to give me. Now even if I say don't give me because of my own will, still it's not proper. If you give 10 rupees, do you think it is going to make difference to me by any chance? The amount of money we are spending, even matters. Compared to that, what is 10 pounds, 10 rupees? But even to give 10 rupees, the fellow has objection. Absolutely. No, I said all right. Tell him, he said, then what about the poor people? If you are so much convinced about poor people, then you buy 2 tapes, even one, take yourself one, and help Sahaja and help the poor. Because this money goes for Sahaja. I don't need your money. It's so what? I mean, if you are so much worried about the poor, you can do this. But in any case, God is free. Our vibrations are free. Everything is free. But if you have to publish a book, you have to spend money. Then Mata should do it. Now, my husband has retired, unlucky. By God's grace, I never have dirt of money. But this is the attitude. Now they go for food. I mean, Maharashtra especially. Marathi सांगितलेलं बरं, म्हणजे दुसऱ्यांचं जाऊ नको बोला. तर जेवायला एक ताट घ्यायचं आणि 4 माणसांनी खायचं. वा. तेवढ्यात किती पैसे वाचले? हे शहाणपण फार आहे इकडे महाराष्ट्रात. आणि तसं होतं माझं काय म्हणणं नाही, कारण देवाला काही पैसे समजत नाही, त्याला काय पैसे पण इथं आपल्या जेवणाचे तर पैसे नाही. अहो गणपतीपुळ्याला सुद्धा तसाच प्रकार आहे. गणपतीपुळ्याला सगळ्यांनी बाहेर यायचं, कमी पूजेला येणार आणि सगळ्यांनी प्रोग्राम बघणार. त्या म्युझिशियन्सना पैसे किती देतो आम्ही? लाखोनी तुमच्यासाठी. त्यांचे पैसे कोण देणार? मात्र देतील. अर्थात करून घेईल. माझं काय म्हणायचं, तुम्ही द्या का नका देऊ, कमी पडणार नाही, पण तुम्हाला कमी पडेल. साहेब आमचे काय म्हणतात की पुण्याचं कार्य आहे, त्याच्यात तू पैसे लाव, त्याच्यात इन्व्हेस्टमेंट देवाजवळ असतं. तशी अक्कल आपल्याला हे नॉर्थच्या लोकांना आहे, महाराष्ट्रीयन लोकांना म्हणून नाही. नॉर्थच्या लोकांना तेवढ्याच पैसे असायचे. मी म्हटलं मला काही नव्हतं का, तुम्ही ते खंड द्या, ते तिथे लागले असं नाही नाही दिलंच पाहिजे. पण सहयोगाला नाही, प्रेम माझ्यावर आहे, पण सहयोगावर प्रेम नाही. नुसतं मला प्रेम करून का उपयोगाचं आहे? तरी काही जगाचं भुलवणार आहे का? प्रेम हे सहयोगावर. आम्ही सहयोगासाठी काय केलं? तुम्हाला जे काही मिळालं ते माझ्यामुळे ते मिळाले, सहयोगामुळे मिळाले. लक्षात ठेवा. Whatever you have got it is because you are Sahajogis. So you have to love Sahaja. तेवढ्याच पैसे वाचून मला साडी घेऊन येते, मला कशाला साडी पाहिजे म्हणजे एवढ्या साड्या मला ती कंटाळा, मला तर हेच आवडत सगळं. पण तिथे 10 रुपये द्यायला म्हणा. मला असं वाटतं की डोक्यात अशी कल्पना असेल की हे पैसे सहयोगी खात असतील. कोणी पैसे खात नाही सहयोगात, सगळे गावात एक गवडी सुद्धा कोणी खात नाही. हे विशेष सांगायचं. आमचे भाऊ अकाउंटंट आहेत ना, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटंट, ते म्हणतात की असे मी ट्रस्टी पाहिले नाही, असा मी ट्रस्ट पाहिला नाही, असे लोक पाहिले नाही. एक पैसा कोणी खात नाही, एक कवडी कोणी खात नाही. सहयोग जे तुम्ही द्याल ते सहयोगाला उपयोगी. आता पैशाच्या गोष्टी करू नये, कारण त्याची अक्कल नाही आहे, पण ते लक्ष्मी तत्व आहे. तुम्ही जर कंजूसपणा करा तर तुमचं लक्ष्मी तत्व वर येणार. ह्या सहयोगाने तुम्हाला सगळं दिलंय. आम्ही अनादी आहोत, तर आम्ही काय केलं तुम्हाला लक्षात घेतलं का? उपकार सहयोगाचे माना, माझे नका मला. आज जर सहयोग आला नसता तर तुम्ही इथे आला नसता आणि पार झाला नसता. जरा गोष्ट अशी देवीची मंदिरं पुष्कळ आहेत, जागृत आहे. स्पेशली महाराष्ट्रीयन लोकांसाठी मी सांगतो. कुलदैवताला गेले तर इतके रुपये बोलायचे. अहो कुलदेवताने काय दिलं तुम्हाला? तुमच्या बापाला, तुमच्या बापाला सहयोगाने तुम्हाला दिलंय ना. खरं सांगा, सहयोगाने दिलं ते. जर आज जगात सहयोग नसता आला तर तुम्हाला काय मिळालं नसतं. माझी गोष्ट सोडा, म्हणजे सहयोगाला प्रेम करा. आम्ही काय सहयोगासाठी केलं? माताजीसाठी काहीही करू नका, बेकार आहे, मला अक्कलच येते. पण सहयोगासाठी प्रत्येकाने येऊन द्यायचं रोज. मी आज काय सहयोगासाठी केलं? तुम्ही आजारी पडला तर सहयोग तुम्हाला टिकवतो. जे काही तुम्हाला लाभ झालेले आहेत ते संबंध सहयोगामुळे झाले. तेव्हा सहयोगावरती प्रेम केलं पाहिजे आणि त्यासाठी थोडी तस लागू द्या देवाला. You have to understand that there's a very big revolution, spiritual revolution that's going on. There are 55 nations who are doing Sahaja. There are some people in some places that tell you 22,000 Sahaja. I meet them only once a year. First when they see, they just start. After their love is for me also, but for Sahaja also. Up to Siberia, therefore, up to Siberia. Can you believe? They have taken it up to Siberia. People came all the way from Siberia. So, one has to learn that I have to do something positive. Maybe you may not like some of these dramas for the time. But once you start seeing them, you like. I would say that you all Indians have to know Hindi language. Must know. No. Minimum of knowledge. That's your Rashtra Bhasha. You must know Hindi language. All the Sahajogis must know Hindi. Then those who live in here should know Marathi. It's very important. Very important. See, people come do business here. We had a problem like that. One Gujarati gentleman had a big strike in his factory for 1 year. Sahaja, very good sir. He said, well, I don't know what to do. I said, you are living in Maharashtra. You don't know what Maharashtrians are. You don't know what they want. What do they respect? You don't know Marathi. You want to just make money and go away. He said, no, I don't make so much money. But even if you give them money, they do not feel that nearness with you. They do not feel that you are part and parcel of his family. So you have to establish it. And Marathi is tremendous language, of course, very difficult also. And when you speak, you may not speak that correct. But whatever you say in Marathi, they appreciate, they will be very happy. So he learned Marathi. I said, now you make a big temple of Ganesha, because Maharashtra Ganesha is the last. So he made a temple of Ganesha, and he said, we are going to have the inauguration. And when they said we are going to have the inauguration, the whole strike was finished. They all came for Ganesh Puja. आपण गणपतीला येणार आहे की दारू पिते त्याच्या बायका गुन्हाने दारू पितच नाही. So I have to make a request to all the non-Marathi people who are here. Try to learn Marathi. Try to understand. And I must say the quality of Marathi literature is very high. But now I know all kinds. It's not Bengal style where it's very emotional style. No, it's very balanced, very deep, and very good for Sahaja. Because Sahaja was practiced since ancient times by Nath who lived in Maharashtra. So Sahaja is actually still very much easy to understand if you know certain words of Marathi. The English language, the less is the better. For example, spirit, I find it so impossible, I mean difficult. Spirit means Atma. Spirit means alcohol. Spirit means dead spirit. Now, which spirit am I talking about? You wouldn't know which spirit I am. So, there's no harm in learning these three languages, in any case. And so many of Sahajogis abroad are learning Marathi or Hindi. And I tell you, they are progressing very well. We have many beautiful books in all these languages, translated also. But for future, you can say spiritual thought. See, Ganeshwara, I have not seen anyone higher than Ganeshwara. Not because I was born in Maharashtra, but nobody higher. Samrutanubhav, if you can read, I mean, like why? So under these circumstances, we should not stick on one side, but we should progress and we should expand. Very easy. We just mix up with other people, with other Sahaja-yogis. We had first a center where they had Marathi. So all Hindi people said, Mother, we don't understand Marathi, they speak in Marathi, these things. And I said, all right, to start another center in Uni. So they started another center. But I said, once a month we should meet all of you. So now we have a nice place in Pune. You are lucky people. You can meet in a place called Shere. All of you can go have a nice picnic there and talk to each other. A Maharashtrian must talk to Hindi people with whatever type of Hindi they know and what should expect. The Marathi Hindi is another quite shocking. It doesn't matter. Same way. And the Hindi people should talk in Marathi. Try to talk. See now if you can talk. You can talk. So a record is established. It's very interesting, you know. And I think it's more congenial, more helpful. If you speak in whatever way, in the whole broken language, doesn't matter. People like it. They will tell you 10 times. See, he said this in Marathi. Though you may make all the mess out of it, doesn't matter. But same with the Maharashtrians. You must excuse the Hindi because for me Hindi is also not easy to think of after Marathi. Like that, you establish a record of language is very important for us. These three languages at least you should try to know because we are international people, not only national. At least Hindi, Marathi, English, these three languages are to be used among each other. I am not saying you should take some sort of a course in this or anything, but just talking. In Sahaja, everything is excused. Otherwise, you talk to somebody else, then people will laugh at you. But in Sahaja, no. So all the people, whether you are Maharashtrian or you are from North, anywhere, should start talking to each other in somebody else's language. It's very easy to learn. Now, another language that we know about is our Sahaja. In Sahaja language, we talk on chakras. We don't talk that person who is good looking, who is bad looking, who is dressed up like this, not superficial. We talk about chakras. This is the chakra is not alright, that is the chakra not. But what we say is that this chakra within me is not alright. But for others we need not talk. They are common. This is very common. तुम्हाला मागं झाली, तुम्हाला भूत झालं, तुम्हाला हे झालं, असं म्हणायचं. It's very easy for surgeries to go on telling you. All the newcomers who come, first of all, they have to be boots or something, according to surgeries. That's what people have told me. Anybody who comes to meet them, they will say, you have got this book, you have got that. So now let us have one committee in which we should have people who would suggest books, ways, methods, how to learn other language. I learned Hindi through Sahaja. He is the greatest novelist in the whole world, much better than Tolstoy or anyone. For Indian life, it is so delicate. Of course, you take out your eyes, wash them, and put them back when you cry, no doubt. After all, you beg of me. But you can learn Hindi very well if you can read Sahaja. There are 26 books of Sahaja. All translated in Hindi. I don't know, Marathi that you might know. Marathi
हो आहेत 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 मराठी
हिंदी पर त्याच्यापेक्षा it's a translation though, but it's not the original Bangla. But it's kind of interesting and gahन है promotion. You pick up that language so fast, so fast. I think Hindi I learned from him only. It's translated. I'm not studying Hindi in my head. Sharat Chandra you all must read. That's so important. He's a realized. There are so many realized souls we have had. So we come to this point that those who are realized souls have been realized souls who have written books and things, even novels, poetry, everything. We should note them down, find them out, abroad, here. Read their literature. So we have to be literary people. I'm not saying that everybody will be. But those who are here are supposed to be class people. At least you all could be literate. The whole atmosphere has become so materialistic, so materialistic, that we cannot talk about literature. Sahaja is not only for your individual good, it is for the masses, it is for the whole world. Now how will you transfer it unless and until you have that medium of very well balanced thoughts? Especially Maharashtrians must know that Marathi language has got words from Farsi, from Arabic, from everywhere. Now our word Ida. Everybody says Ida. Every servant can say Ida. You know it's an Arabic word. Tabarto, Kulukili. All these are Arabic Farsi words. Not some problem. Urdu words is it. I have read that as a Gustavu. The Gustavu is an Urdu word. I never knew this that is called Marathi. मराठी में खूब उर्दू शब्द लगा है, गुफ्तगू भी आए, क्योंकि एक अच्छी बात है महाराष्ट्र कि सबकी भाषा के खूब लेते रहते हैं। ऐसा नहीं कि जैसे हिंदी में है कि अग्नि लथा वनम गवनम वगैरह वगैरह, ऐसा नहीं है। वो लगाएंगे इंग्लिश, उसको कहेंगे आगाड़ी, मतलब सब चीज जैसी है वैसी की वैसी है। ऐसा छोटी बहुत से उर्दूदा लोग बोले वही बात। इसी तरह से सहज में सब चीज को मिला लेते हैं। So we can have some people they will encourage this kind of writings and things. Now there are many Sahajayogis who are writing beautiful poetry, say in English, maybe in Marathi, maybe in Hindi. Also very beautiful things about Sahaja. We haven't got them combined together. They are not put together. Many people don't know even. So it should be all brought up. And you should all read it out to your children, read it out among yourselves, and enjoy it. So we have to be literary. We have to be people who enjoy the beautiful thoughts of other people. It's very important. Once you start doing it, even the master will do it. Even they'll take it, because it's just a matter Indian, see, conditionings are such that you borrow a book, never return. हे आपल्या हिंदुस्थानातल्या कमाल आहे. त्यातलं एक हे पुस्तक आहे ना, ते लपच. दुसऱ्या ठिकाणी वस्तू आली ठीक आहे त्याची हे सहयोगात नाही. दिस इज नॉट इन सहयोग. दोन पैसे जास्त नाही. Never try to take advantage of another person. Don't try to exploit others. In Sahaja, if you start exploiting, you will be exploited because now you are in the kingdom of God. So this is something very much characteristic in us. That if you can somehow or other manner, we are very clever people, very cunning, very clever. The only people who can beat us are Italians. But you see what has happened to them also, most of them are in jail now. And if you start practicing these habits of cheating others, not cheating, I mean, ये मार लो, त्याग लो, तू ना again comes self-respect. It was not so before, I can tell you. Even one little spoon was left of somebody in the house, everybody asked, have you kept the spoon on it? Have you returned the spoon on it? We have seen much better days. That should be service. Now, for this kind of thing, I don't want to have a competition that give present to somebody who has done all such good things. That we don't want. We don't want to have any competition. But we can tell each other about it. How generous another person. Instead of talking ill of others, we can say now how generous this person was in life. See? The other day I must say, Meron told something about me which I have forgotten completely. He said when you wanted to sell me this land, I said I will not buy from you because you have cured my heart. I have cured your heart, so I don't want it. So he said, all right, give me, he said, all right, for 1 acre, give me 75,000. I said, no, I will not. I will find out. I found out the market price for 1 lakh. I said, you have to take 1 lakh. Nothing to do. Where can you apply to? But it comes automatically. But इकडे वेगळा प्रकार. परत मराठीत सांगतो. सगळ्या आल्या म्हणून सांगतो. म्हणजे पेढे सुद्धा पळवले, लाडू पळवले, सगळ्यांची पळवा. अहो खरंच काय मूर्खपणा. बायका आल्या सर्विस करायला. ते लाडूचे गाठोडे बंद करत होते. नंतर त्यांनी स्टेनलेसच्या वाट्या पळवल्या, स्टेनलेसच्या टाक्या पळवल्या. आमचे मकूर साहेब एवढे पर्टिक्युलर आहेत, त्यामुळे ते पैसे भरा तुम्ही आता पुढे करायला ते पैसे भरायला म्हटलं अहो सोडा कशाला दिले तरी. ते इथं ते तुम्ही माताजी हॉलमध्ये करू नका, काही पळवतील इकडं. म्हटलं माझं नाही पळवणार, पण सहजच पळवतो. माझं नाही पळवणार, सहजच पळवतो. आपली लायकी काय, आपण कोण, आपण स्टेज साऊथ म्हणते माताजी. साधू संन्यासी लोक नाही, साधूंच्या वर कोणी जागृती दिली आजपर्यंत जी तुम्ही देता. पण जसं की रेडिओमध्ये सुंदर संगीत येतं, पण रेडिओला काही कळत नाही तशा प्रकारचे होतं. रेडियो में से अच्छा संगीत आ रहा है, लेकिन रेडियो को समझता नहीं. ऐसा ही हाल हमारे सहयोगियों का कभी होता है. इधर से आपसे जागृति हो रही है, सबको पार करा रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, वो कर रहे हैं, और फिर लड्डू लेके बात करते. ऐसा लड्डू लाओ ना, इतने सारे लड्डू के काम तो उदार की तो पुरुषार्थ। आप कंपटीशन लगाना नहीं सहयोग में, इसके लिए एक मेडल मिल जाएगा भैया आपको कि आपने बहुत उदार कहा है तो चलो उदार का एक मेडल मिल गया। ऐसे सहयोग में नहीं, सहयोग में पूरा विश्वास हमारा आपके ऊपर है, आपको अपने ऊपर होना चाहिए। हम कोई लूट मारने का, कोई किसी का हम छीनते नहीं, हम कुछ लेते नहीं है, उल्टा हमसे जितना होगा हम। ये जो सब गुण वर्णन किए हैं पहले, वो हमारे अंदर से दूसरों को दिखने चाहिए, प्रकाशित होने चाहिए। अगर ये प्रकाशित नहीं हो तो सहयोग काय को करने का। तो इसमें डिस्पैरिटी जो है वो ये है कि माता जी पे बहुत